Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers on the broadcast today. Coming to you from Washington, D.C., United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Here for the whole show on all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. Compassion, accountability, integrity, respect.
Big R in Sparks is located on Bering Boulevard next to Smith's and across from Reed High School for workwear and everyday wear. Evaporative coolers, outdoor living, Weber's, Traeger's, and Lodge. Fill your propane tanks here. Big R on Bering Boulevard in Sparks next to Smith's and across from Reed High School. Big R. Hardware, clothing, and a whole lot more.
It's the $100,000 Cash is King Progressive giveaways at Carson Valley Inn. Giveaways every Saturday with a Progressive up to $20,000 and $15,000 in guaranteed grand prize giveaways. There's another 100,000 reasons to play and win at the Carson Valley Inn.
As you know, Reno is booming. Toll's Development Company is helping it grow with insightful design and development, building community with every project, adding beauty, adding excitement, emphasizing our shared humanity. Reno is becoming bigger. Toll's Development is helping it become better, more livable, more enjoyable. To learn more, go to tollsdevelopment.com. tollsdevelopment.com.
Save money and take transit. Did you know you can ride the bus all day for less than what it would cost you for a gallon of gas? Plan your trip now by going to rtcwashoe.com.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with host Sam Shad, a no-holds-barred political forum. Now, from the Nevada Newsmakers broadcast headquarters, here is Sam Shad.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Washington, D.C., we are delighted to welcome back to the program United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Welcome.
Thank you. It's always great to see you, Sam.
Thank you. Let's start out with the lands bills. Las Vegas, or Clark County at least, shut down the previous lands bill that you were working on. Where are we with the lands bills now, and especially when you consider Ivanpah, the new airport, that needs its own lands bill, correct?
So I sit on Energy and Natural Resources on the Senate side. There's several different types of lands bills, with the one you're talking about, the one that in Clark County and a number of stakeholders have brought forward. You know, we pushed it out of, we had a hearing on it last Congress. Have a good sense of kind of on the Senate side where it's going to land. And at this juncture, waiting for the county, working with their folks to look at, see, they wanted to introduce it on the House side, so waiting to see what happens on the House side. Okay,
so does this lands bill include Ivanpah?
It includes a number of things. I think from what I am seeing in that lands bill, it includes Ivanpah, it includes a number of parcels of conservation, working with the conservation groups, the outdoor recreation groups, the county, Southern Nevada Water Authority. So it's just, it really, at the end of the day, it was a combination of all the stakeholders coming together, the tribes, and figuring out what makes sense there in Southern Nevada for them.
Do you think that people realize just how huge this is? Because Commissioner Jim Gibson, the chair of the Clark County Commission, said on this program that back in 2019, the valuation on the cost of building the airport alone was $12 billion. That would make it the largest public works program ever in Nevada. And in fact, the Hoover Dam, in today's money, was only $750 million by comparison. I mean, this is massive.
Well, and I'll tell you what, and there's something to be said about all local governments now who are engaging in these large-scale projects. It's because we worked to pass the bipartisan infrastructure package, the CHIPS and Science Act and the Inflation Reduction Act, federal investments that are coming into our communities, into our states now for these projects. I think it's important that Nevada gets its fair share of this money for projects like this, for large-scale water recycling projects that are in there, for a number of things that we need in the state of Nevada. That's what I fought for. I will continue to make sure we're working on that behalf.
Okay.
And let me just finally say, Sam, these are long-term investments as
Sure.
well, right? They're not just for a 2-year period or 5-year, 9 years down the road, that are opportunities for Nevada.
And the airport authority says that it's going to be 2037 before the airport could open, the new airport, but they're going to run out of space at Harry Reid in 2030. Do you see any way that you have a 7-year gap between the being full at Harry Reid and having a new airport?
Well, I am going to rely on the experts in this case to tell us what the needs are there, and that's the local government, that's the airport authority, that's how it works for me at a federal level.
But doesn't gaming also play into that?
I think all of the above. I think it is important for, at a local level, the Clark County and all the stakeholders there to say what's necessary as they continue to grow population-wise, economic-wise, I mean, the economy, what the needs are in that community. My goal and role at the federal level is to make sure they have the federal resources to achieve what they need.
What's possible financially?
Oh, I just told you.
No, I mean, would the federal government be able to put in $1 billion, $5 billion, $10 billion?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So we have made, in the bipartisan infrastructure package alone, there were billions of dollars that were put in nationally over a 10-year period to be able to come into states like Nevada for these types of projects. There's money that's coming into Nevada already because of the bipartisan infrastructure package for our airports, for our roads, a number of projects across the state. So now's the time to take advantage of that. Now's the time to apply for those funds. Now's the time to make sure that Nevada's getting its fair share. I fought for those so that Nevada could seek the benefits of those federal resources. So it is important that the state and our local counties and our airport authorities and the Regional Transportation Commission and Nevada Department of Transportation, they are applying for these funds that are out there. Because quite frankly, Sam, if we don't go after them and get them, then some other community is going to get it.
Right. Do you have any concept of the number in terms of billions of dollars that Clark County would need to apply for, or have they applied for?
No,
or is it too early at this point?
Yeah, I think it's too early, and I would wait for the county and Department of Aviation, all of the key stakeholders to put that together and bring it to me, and really the entire federal delegation.
Okay, let's talk about what's going on with mining. I just got back a couple of weeks ago from Thacker Pass and the beginning stage of what is now, which I didn't realize at the time, a 40-year project, which I'm sure you're very well aware of, that will supply an incredible amount of lithium. At the same time, now you're having to deal, along with Senator Rosen, on the potential for a mining tax. Your thoughts on this?
A couple of things. One, I think at the end of the day, the opportunity to engage in mining in a mining state like Nevada on these key elemental pieces, I'm trying to think of the right term here, the key elements that we need, the rare earth elements, to lean into this renewable future, this clean energy economy. Lithium is one of them. And Nevada is really the opportunity to engage in this lithium mining that is going to help us reduce our carbon footprint and be a key player, not just nationally, but around the world. What better place than Nevada, which is a mining state? It's good for our jobs. It's good for union jobs. It grows our economy. So there's a great opportunity here at the end of the day for Nevada, and that's why it is important and why I have been fighting for this opportunity in the bipartisan infrastructure package, in the Inflation Reduction Act, as I sit on energy and natural resources. At the same time, I also know we can do mining and mine responsibly. I also think that if we are going to talk about taxing and royalties, that the mining company should be at the table when we're having this conversation. And that's, to me, as I sit on energy and natural resources, important for all the stakeholders to be available for that conversation and to weigh in on it.
Do you think that there's a number that the mining industry would be comfortable with? Is it 1 or 2% versus what's been put on the table so far?
Well, I can tell you, I can't speak to the percentage, and I would leave that to the mining companies. But I know when they were before my committee in Energy and Natural Resources, and we were having this conversation, they were open to net proceeds, royalties. They were open to that. They just want to be at the table and have the conversation to explain the impact it would have on the type of hard rock mining they do, and the impact, so that when we're having this conversation here at the federal level, we're going in eyes wide open. But they just want to be at the table to be a part of the conversation.
Are you getting support from Senator Manchin on this?
Senator Manchin is the one that I asked to have the hearing in Energy and Natural Resources last Congress on this very issue. And he was open to hearing from the mining company and so many others. Listen, the state of Nevada did this. You know, our legislature got with our mining companies, had a conversation, what can be done with respect to revenue sharing and getting some of this revenue. It's no different than at the federal level. But key to this is having mining at the table. Traditionally, they haven't been there. And I do think it's important that they get to weigh in on this and explain what hard rock mining is all about.
Does it concern you that there's a change in leadership? You know, Dana Bennett, who is the interim head of the Nevada Mining Association, is stepping down, and there's going to be a new leader. Is this a bad time for that kind of changeover?
No, listen, let me first of all say I've worked with Dana. Dana has done an incredible job.
She's great.
She's wonderful. But I also know everybody that works at both the National Mining Association and the Nevada Mining Association. They all do an incredible job. They've been great partners to work with, great advocates, and willing to be at the table and have these conversations, and literally willing to come to Washington and be at a committee hearing to also have these conversations, as we have seen in the past.
Are you surprised at the pushback, you know, based on so much that you've done for the environmental community? Are you surprised at some of the pushback you've gotten from the environmental community over mining?
I think in general, it is important for all the stakeholders to be together. At the end of the day, if we can compromise and work together, and really find this solution about how Nevada is a key part of this future, this 21st century technology that is so crucial to all of us, that's going to help us reduce our carbon footprint and address climate change and extreme weather that we see in Nevada. I think it is important that everybody's at the table. But I will say this, doing nothing is not the answer. I do think it is important for us to all talk about Nevada's role, what it means, and how we do that in a responsible way.
And, you know, from the beginning to the end, in terms of recycling, Nevada has this golden opportunity, it would seem.
It already does. Nevada has the complete ecosystem for recycling, from the extraction from the ground to the processing to the mining to the recycling. It is incredible, the companies that are coming to Nevada because of the opportunities that we have provided to them. And so why shouldn't we continue to lean into that innovation, that research and development that brings, again, great paying jobs, but it positions Nevada to be a leader. We already are a leader in the solar economy. That's fantastic. Why shouldn't we continue to lead across the country? I think Nevada's primed for that.
Let's take a break. We'll be back more from Washington, D.C. with United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto after this timeout.
Retail's impact on Nevada's economy? Enormous. 8,600 businesses, large and small, employing 145,000 workers. And last fiscal year, retail paid tax on nearly $60 billion in sales. We're the Retail Association of Nevada. We support retail, we help it grow, and we mean business.
RANNV.org.
Pro Group Management offers workers' comp services to a growing number of industries. As businesses grow and change with the times, the need for a solid workers' comp program must be flexible and up to date. The evolving nature of regulations can make staying ahead of complex tasks challenging. But Pro Group Management simplifies the work so your industry can move forward and succeed. Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you.
Early in the morning or throughout the night, professional truck drivers are on the job, serving you, safely moving freight that's crucial to our economy. From the oldest industries to our newest innovators, from the exotic to the everyday, trucks are everywhere, moving everything. Never afraid to embrace a future that makes Nevada and our nation stronger. Trucking moves America forward.
What do you count on? You count on your power every day. At NV Energy, we've always powered what's important to you, but we're not looking at the past. We're focused on the future. While our standards are high, our rates will remain low. And our commitment to renewables isn't just meeting standards, but leading the way. Because you can count on more than just your power. You can count on the company who brings it to you. That's our promise. You can count on it.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation from Washington, D.C. with United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. There's been a lot of anxiety in the mileage points community regarding bills that are going through Congress right now that would affect credit card points that go towards mileage. You have any thoughts on this as you're on the banking committee? And
I am on the banking committee. It's just not come through our committee. I think my understanding, it's some of my colleagues who have introduced that, but there is no conversation that I have seen or hearings on this issue that are planned for the banking committee.
I mean, do you think that there would be great hysteria across the country if people were suddenly losing all their credit card points?
Well, I would imagine that, yes, customers would be concerned. I don't know and have not seen any legislation here, at least on the Senate side. Now, it could be on the House side, but I haven't seen anything on the Senate side regarding that particular issue.
All right. Let's change topics here. Let's talk about the war in Ukraine. Mm-hmm. To me, as an observer, it seems that we are doing everything possible in a war except sending American troops. The equipment, the money, the fact that Senator Rosen said on this program last year that we had agreed to backfill all the equipment that was being sent. And now my colleague Ray Hager put in that in Romania, U.S. troop numbers have tripled from approximately 1,000 troops in 2022 to 3,000 today. They're there to bolster NATO's eastern flank in response to Russia's war in Ukraine. A high-end missile launched from Crimea could reach the soldiers there in about 7 minutes. Your thoughts?
I think, one, and will continue to support Ukraine. This horrific, what I believe is illegal war by Putin for totally political purposes is something that we have to stand up against. I do believe that the United States can not only support Ukraine, but we can also do what we need to do in this country on other issues. I think we can do both when it comes to addressing our domestic needs, but at the same time standing up for Ukraine. I will also say this is, I remember under the previous administration, there was a lot of chaos. There was the previous administration was particularly for our friends and allies in other countries, pushing them off, not building and continuing to build relationships. When this current president, President Biden, came in, it was the first time I'd seen he had actually reached out to some of our allies and friends to coalesce them around the need to support Ukraine. And that's why we see other countries who have also come to the table hadn't been there before. So I think it is important we continue to work with our allies and friends who are also supporting Ukraine and the people in Ukraine in this instance.
Does it not concern you that this could accelerate dramatically, that where Putin sits right now, that we're a hair trigger away from nuclear weapons potentially?
Well, of course, I think anybody should be concerned about that, whether it's Putin, who to me is unstable and engaging in what we see as this illegal war, or it's North Korea or some other country. That's why we have to keep our friends and allies close and work together through NATO and the UN and to really make sure that we are standing up united against countries like Russia, in this case under President Putin, who is engaging in this, what I have said over and over, is illegal, and it's outrageous what he's trying to do to another country.
But short of sending American troops?
Well, we also have to make sure that it's not the United States leading, which we are not. That's why it is important that we work with our allies and friends in other countries to continue to support Ukraine, which is happening, again, I think thanks to the Biden administration, who has pulled all these countries together.
Okay, but were we not leading financially and materially?
Well, I think it's important that we all are part of this together. Ukraine is not a NATO country, so we know that at the end of the day, we have to work with our friends and allies, those countries that have similar concerns that we do, against this illegal war. It is important that, again, we are not doing it on our own. We are coordinating with those countries who are also providing support in terms of whether it's military support, humanitarian aid to so many civilians in Ukraine who are unfortunately dying at the hands of Putin in this illegal war.
All right, let's take another break and we'll come back more with United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto after this timeout.
The casino industry drove Nevada's economy for decades. By the 1990s, however, the state's sole industry was in sharp decline. Many were losing their homes, many were leaving the state. Is Reno on track to be the Detroit of the West? Was an October 2010 Reno Gazette-Journal headline. Nevada knew it was time for a change and a time to diversify. Story County took that lead, took risks, invested tens of millions transforming its desert into a place of opportunity and a future for Nevada families needing something new. That desert now provides thousands of high-paying tech, advanced manufacturing, and energy careers at companies like Tesla, Panasonic, Google, Switch, and Redwood Materials. Story County transformed Northern Nevada forever, and the tide of opportunity has raised all vessels through construction contracts, high-paying careers, and the power of payroll. Tens of millions have been generated in sales and property tax, permits, and other revenues for Reno, Sparks, Washoe County, and for all of Nevada. Enough, in fact, to generate a surplus after public services are provided. And best of all, a sustainable economic climate has been created, enabling our children to stay in Nevada and live prosperous lives in their home state. Story County, improving Northern Nevada one industry at a time.
7 at 7 is a newscast built for your smartphone. It's a 7-minute newscast available every weekday at 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. at lvrj.com. We don't waste your time, and we give you the day's top stories.
We at the RJ have noticed some similarities between us and a certain BTS character, RJ.
Plus the latest in Las Vegas business, weather, health, and entertainment news. 7 at 7 streaming now on your smartphone.
This is Nevada Newsmakers.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, we continue our conversation with United States Senator Catherine Cortez Masto. Immigration. We are in this insane situation, especially in Nevada, where we have so many jobs available, nobody to fill them, especially in the service industry, and yet the Congress cannot get their act together to put anything on the table as far as immigration reform. And now we have DACA coming up again.
Yeah, listen, I've said it over and over again. I think we can work to fix a broken immigration system and secure our borders and put funding there. We've done both, and we can do both. They're not mutually exclusive. What I find is that, unfortunately, some of my colleagues want to play politics with dreamers, with so many issues when it comes to immigration. Instead of getting in and solving the problem and working together, using it as a political cudgel so that they can win an election. It's outrageous. You and I both know we've got dreamers in the state of Nevada. They came there as young children. They've grown up there. They want to go to school there. They want to be a crucial part of our job. They're on the front lines of the pandemic. They're essential workers. And yet we're telling them you don't matter. Well, they do matter. And it is important that we continue to focus on how we work together to pass, by the way, which passed out of the House in a bipartisan way, the DREAM Act to protect dreamers. It can't be done in the Senate.
Okay, but beyond even the dreamers, you've got Eric Adams saying that New York is going to be destroyed, the mayor of New York, with 100,000 immigrants being tossed onto New York's doorstep. And, you know, I mean, some might say, well, you know, this is spreading the pain around. But the fact is these people want to work, and yet they have no ability to work with the way the system is set up now. Is there no thought in Congress to do something about this at least?
Well, let me just say this, because it's fascinating. I was just in Nevada in August. I do my rural road trip, get around the state and talk. Even in rural Nevada, to our farmers and ranchers, they are looking for workers. And they're looking for workers that are coming from Mexico and other places, immigrants, because they unfortunately know that there are Americans who are not taking these jobs. So yes, do we want to open up the opportunity like we have in the past for a workforce, an immigrant workforce, to come in an orderly process through our immigration system to be able to work in our country because we need workers? Yes, and there is a role for Congress to play, but unfortunately it goes back to what I just said. Some of my colleagues, instead of solving the problem, addressing this issue, are more inclined to play politics with it and scare people so that they can win an election.
And what is the scare? I guess at this point, that's the part I don't understand. 40 years ago, I understood, the fight between unions and business. But at this point, I don't even know what the fight is over.
Well,
is it just fear of immigrants coming? We have about 30 seconds.
Yeah, I at the end of the day, that's what I hear, is this idea that they shouldn't even be allowed to be here to work. But that's who we are. We're a country of immigrants. My grandfather came here from Chihuahua, Mexico, to work and became a United States citizen. That's what this country is really built on. So to continue to open that door and have an orderly, secure process for that to happen, I'm all for it. And I think we can fix that system, that broken immigration system, and again, still secure our borders at the same time.
Before the elections of 2024?
I'd hope we could do it, quite honestly, now with some of my colleagues who claim that they want to do something about this immigration issue.
And that's where we have to leave it.
Yeah.
Catherine Cortez Masto, thank you. I always appreciate you doing this. I know how busy you are.
Oh, thank you, Sam. It's always good to see you here in D.C.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Fantastic cocktails and delicious food. It's a good time to eat. Over 500 hot slots, plus electronic table games.
It's a good time to play.
Player rewards and big-time jackpots.
It's a good time to win.
Ooh, your good times at Tamarack.
Modern boutique Ahern Hotel and Event Center sits at the heart of the Las Vegas Strip. 2 floors of meeting and event space are ideal for groups and conventions. Stay in one of 200 luxurious rooms and suites. Brand your event throughout the property. Flexible event spaces make for easy planning and personalization. Take over the entire hotel with a full buyout option.
Nevada Newsmakers Goes to Washington is brought to you by Pro Group Management, workers' comp that works for you. NV Energy. NV Energy proudly serves Nevada, providing electricity to 2.4 million electric customers. University Medical Center of Southern Nevada. Compassion, accountability, integrity, respect.
Thanks for watching Nevada Newsmakers, coming to you from Washington, D.C. We'll see you on the next broadcast here from Washington. See you then.